Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're gonna be a craftier person after watching this video. Want to extend my hours without telling me? Okay then. This happened about a month ago and I finally got around to writing it out. I work retail at a store that rhymes with souls. Recently there's been some real turmoil at my specific location. The scheduling manager is fantastic at looking at availability and maximum hours and writing the schedule to fit perfectly with everyone's needs considered. However, our general manager is the one with the final say of the schedule. It's become a huge problem with the management that the good workers are being scheduled between 5 to 10 hours more than their availability allows. This always seems to affect me. In the past 3 or so months, I've had to go to management countless times and demand that my schedules fit my availability. Typically, this is an irritation and really not something I want to deal with, but it's not anything overly ridiculous. However, about a month ago, I went into my shift and saw that my shift was manually penciled in and extended another 15 minutes and signed by my general manager. This really upset me. I feel like employee hours are to be stuck to. What if I had had an appointment right after work? I'm angry and ready to storm into the manager's office and ask what the reasoning is and how this feels really unethical. But the more I looked at the schedule, the more I formulated a plan for malicious compliance. Halfway through my shift, I walked into my general manager's office and talked to him. It's not verbatim, but it went something like this. Hi, why did you extend my shift without telling me? We needed coverage until the next shift comes in at 3. I understand that, but I really don't like my schedule being changed with no notification or asking me. I know, but we needed someone to stay in your department until 3. I figured you wouldn't mind. I do. But I'll stay just for this one time. Say, this means I work 7 hours, right? Right. And isn't 7 hours the minimum to have a lunch break? Yes. Well, I'll take my lunch now. I leave and clock out for 30 minutes. I think the general manager finally realised that by extending my hours 15 minutes, he gave me a 30-minute off-the-clock lunch break, therefore making it a net loss of 15 minutes of work. The best part? When I took my lunch, the department I was working at was completely packed with customers. They were all needing help and had to ask staff from other departments because I wasn't going to help while clocked out. The last 15 minutes, completely silent and peaceful. Oh, I've had that feeling quite a few times working in call centers. Not because I'm staying late or anything, but on the odd day when I take my lunch and then the phones would go completely crazy. But by the time I get back, the rush is over and everyone is frazzled except me. It's like dodging a stress bullet. All work jobs must have a billing code? You got it. Back in the 80s, I was a secretary or receptionist at a small marketing research firm. It was my responsibility to assign all new jobs a job number and to transfer time from timesheets to the billing book so clients could be billed. The boss and owner got pretty upset if there was an unbillable time from any department and insisted that all jobs have a billing number and all time be billed to a client. It was also his business and he could do what he wanted. I once spent 2 hours on the phone tracking down the hot tub that was supposed to be delivered to his house, or special ordered clothes for his wife, etc. His high school kid had a paper due. The boss wrote up the design for the research paper. I think the kid actually did do some interviews, and the coding department pulled together data. The kid wrote the first draft, but the boss fixed it, and I was given the paper to type. There were grumbles from the coding department about how they were supposed to account for the time, so I went back to the book and added a job number. I meticulously kept track of every minute spent on the kid's paper, including my time. When the boss got the billing report at the end of the month, he came out pretty upset, wanting to know why I had given it a billing number when there was no client. Now it looked like we had a job of several $100s that could not be billed. I apologised profusely and referred to his recent tirade about giving everything a billing number. I was just trying to follow his rules. They could have taken it one step further if they were feeling really sassy and said that he was actually the client. Some bosses flag themselves as unfit. Several years ago, I was looking for a job and a friend suggested for me to work for the same company she worked for. It was one of those flagging companies you see holding up traffic for construction sites. She's telling me how great the job is, how awesome the co-workers are and how great the boss is. Sounded like an okay job really. At this point, I have no other leads for jobs. I've applied to a bunch of places already, but I haven't heard back from them and it's too soon to call them yet. So I decided to take her up on her offer. The pay's not bad. I don't recall exactly what it was, something like 16 an hour. I go through the hiring course and get through easily. A few days later, the boss then calls me and tells me that I work for her and I'm to do as she says. Furthermore, that she only has the authority to tell me when I work, with the lovely aspect that she will call me before 8 PM to let me know if I'm working the next day, and that if I don't hear from her, then I'm not working. I say, fair enough. She then tells me that she wants to meet me so I can be given the requisite gear. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, but at this point I've only just gotten my license, and according to my local laws, I can't drive between midnight and 5 AM yet. The boss, of course, wants me to meet her the next day at the job site at 4 AM. While there is a special permit new drivers can get, it takes a few days to actually get, fill out, be processed and accepted. So it wouldn't be possible to have it done for the next day. I told her that I wasn't going to break the law for her, and she got pissed but then eventually relented. Meet me at 5:30 then, which was doable for me. I ended up working a shift that day as well. A couple of weeks pass and I'm getting no shifts at all, sitting by the phone a lot waiting for calls that aren't coming in. I haven't given up the job search either though, until one night I do get a call. The next day I'm on site at the location and the manager there says for me to be back the next day at the same time. I tell him I'm not allowed to follow that order, he'll have to speak to my boss and she'll determine who gets sent out. He says he understands and that he'll speak to her. I get off work and arrive home right around 7:45. I check my voicemail and there's been no messages left. I check to see if the boss has called yet and she hasn't. 8 PM comes and goes and I go to bed with a clear conscience. At 7:30 the following morning my phone rings. It's the boss calling. Where are you? Why aren't you at the site? Didn't the site manager speak to you? At which point I respond with, yes he did, but I told him to ask you. Remember what you said? To never take orders from anyone but you? That you would call the night before by 8 PM to let me know if I worked the next day? I didn't get any phone calls last night. I did exactly what you asked. The boss didn't like that. She hung up the phone on me, and I never bothered to try calling her back. The next day, I turned in my logbook and quit the company before she could fire me. A few days later, I got hired at another job. Though the pay wasn't as good, the fact that there were steady hours meant I was making a lot more money. I can't imagine the sheer annoyance of having to sit by the phone every night to know if you're working the next day or not. And from the manager's end, how is that a practical way of doing things? What if the employee she wants on site doesn't pick up her call? Or is busy? Or has made plans? Wait, how would you even make plans if you don't know when you're supposed to work? This has kind of baffled me. Drive to the confirmed address out of state? Okay. Just a small disclaimer, this is typed on mobile. I hope the formatting is okay, and this even happened over 3 years ago, so dialogue may be a bit off. TLDR will be at the end. I'm sorry it's so long. For a little background, I'm a full-time Uber driver and have been one for over 3 years. My original Uber vehicle was a burnt orange Suzuki SX4. It was a great little car. Our cast, names are changed, not that I remember 2 of their names. Me, OP, Christina, she was the one who ordered, Sarah, didn't really say anything to me, Kathy, obnoxious loudmouth. So to begin this tale, it was a Saturday night getting close to midnight in the Rocky Mountain State. I had received a trip request from a club downtown for a Christina. At this point, Uber gave very little information to us drivers about the ride we were about to get, just the name of the passenger and the passenger rating. No indication on how far or what direction the passenger was going. So when I arrived to the club, 3 college girls pile into the car. Are you Christina? Yes, this is Christina. In a pretty aggressive attitude. Christina, what is your driver's name? The girls pretend to not hear me as I'm asking for confirmation that I am in fact their driver. Ladies, who is your driver? You are. Cue obnoxious laughing. I laugh along, putting on my customer service face. I may be, but we still have to confirm that we have the right people. I was very adamant about doing this after someone tried to steal another person's Uber one night. Like I said, and your phone says, this is Christina. This Kathy sounds like the epitome of an entitled witch. I make no move to leave, and after much grumbling, Christina finally confirms that I am who I am. You're OP. Now if you're done wasting time, let's go. Yep, I'm OP. Sorry about the trouble. I've had people try to steal another person's Uber in the past. This gets me no response, and I do all I can from visibly sighing in despair. I begin the ride, and this is where I normally would confirm the address, but before I can even read it, give me your aux cable, we need good music. Crank Rihanna, Kathy! And all 3 girls scream. Okay, here you go. Sorry, it's not long. I hand the cord to Kathy, which barely reaches beyond the front seats. Wow, cheap. This was said quietly, but in my tiny car, everything can be heard. It honestly hit harder than expected though, because I'm a prideful person when it comes to my work. Crank the music! After she gets the music playing. I'm about to comply when I actually read the address. It was 123 Dad's house, Wichita, Kansas. I obviously don't know the address. Hey, just to confirm, you need to go to 123 Dad's house, Wichita, Kansas? The girls are laughing and promptly ignoring me as I drive slowly along. Excuse me, I need to confirm the address really quick. Yeah, it's right, just friggin' drive. Turn up the music and go. At this point, I just shut up, turn the music up, and start driving with purpose. I ignored most of what they said in the backseat at this point. I knew that they didn't want to go to Kansas. They had no luggage, and I picked them up from a club, but they told me to drive and refused to listen, so I was going to get as much out of this trip before they would notice that we were driving east at a rapid pace. It was about 40 minutes later and the backseat had quieted down. Guys, where is he taking us? I start to slow down now and turn the music down a touch. We are no longer in a city, but in the plains with basically only the stars as light. We could still see the city behind us in the distance. Where are we? You could hear the confusion in her voice. Where are you taking us? 123 Dad's house, Wichita, Kansas is the address you put in and the one I said at the start of the ride. That's my dad's house, not mine. Turn around. Yes, ma'am. I turn around more aggressively than necessary. Where to? Kathy explodes into a stream of insults, drowning out anything else in the car. Christina, what address am I taking you to? Kathy quiets down, glaring at me, allowing Christina to tell me they're at a college outside of downtown. Let's get y'all there, I say, then crank their music again and start driving. The whole time I'm driving, I'm in a panic, because I just know they're going to try and contest this fare, and probably try to get me suspended from the app. Nothing really eventful happens while I'm driving these girls, and are pretty quiet, but I can hear them say small comments about reporting me and how messed up this was. As we approached the college campus, I began to try and cover my ass. So, I just want to say that I'm sorry about this experience. It really sucks when there's a miscommunication on this level. I will say though, that I will be saving my dashcam footage from tonight in case there's trouble with Uber over the fare, since it's a strange one. I pause to see if they have anything to say about my dashcam bluff, but they say nothing. I come to a stop close to the dorm area of the college. I hope you all have a great night now, and good luck with your studies. They all get out of the car without a word and slam the doors. I pull away, and rate Christina with a single star and give the reason as wrong address entered in, and rude. The ride would have been close to a minimum fare if they would have just put the right address in, but it turned into a $70-ish trip. Christina never gave me a low rating from what I know, because those are the ones we drivers actually hear about. I now know that I could have done a lot different to avoid the situation, but at the time I was still fairly new, and it took a bit for me to adjust to the work. If you read this, thank you, and I'm open to all criticisms. I hope it's not too long. Okay, so that's all for r/MaliciousCompliance. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord, and Patreon links are in the description, and any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!